Shut up and sit down.
Coffs Harbour is a reasonably large town on the northern New South Wales coast with a population of nearly 75,000. It boasts its own airport and train station. Its economy is based on the agriculture from the surrounding area and a large number of retirees. Its sizable retiree population gives rise to mobility scooter traffic jams and supports a couple of large hospitals. There's also a considerable public welfare community with more than the odd homeless person, and a very active police force. This town makes me feel like a young, skinny, rich person, where all the eye-catching women are nurses and the young people just can't wait to get out of here or are doing drugs beneath the bridge. The harbour is more of a creek, and with the tireless efforts over the last 100 years, a man-made harbour has been created into the ocean by connecting nearby islands with an artificial seawall. And that breakwall has a dual purpose, as many of the locals will come down for a drive, look out to the ocean, park in their cars evenly spaced together in their loneliness. The shopping is also quite depressing, where the most popular restaurants are either a kebab shop, which has Turkish salad rather than tabbouleh, or a fish and chip shop where you have an option of battered or crumbed. Yes, fried or steamed fish is just far too healthy. The most laughter I heard was in the local indoor pool, as the idea of swimming in the beaches is also quite depressing, where there's only one beach that's been regularly patrolled. The most interesting thing I've come across so far is the Northern Coast Regional Botanic Gardens, where I'm sure I would have enjoyed it more if it was on a sunny day. Having a short hop between Coffs Harbour and Port Macquarie, I decided to make my life a little bit more difficult by having lunch at Bendemeer, with a toilet break at Apsley Falls, before heading towards Armidale and finally Coffs Harbour via the Waterfall Way. The Oxford Highway to Bendemeer was a bit of a windy road, full of construction trucks repairing a recently washed away sections, and a large parts of this trip I was stuck behind a column of trucks and a number of people towing caravans, at times only doing 30 kilometres an hour. With limited visibility ahead, I had difficulty lane filtering my way past them. Apsley Falls was a nice spot to stop and stretch the legs. With all the rain, it was running quite spectacularly. I'm not quite sure why the powers that be don't make more interesting lookout combined with dedicated rest spots. I was a bit worried about using the drone because if it went down there was no way of getting it back. The only thing at Bendemeer was a pub and a petrol station, where there was an old woman who waved at all the passers-by, but sadly that would have only been a couple people per day. On the New England Highway to Armidale, the dish came off again while passing through Uluru. Every time the dish has fallen off, I've tried something new in the belief that I've discovered the secret, but then it has fallen off again. I've gotten to Armidale with too little time to stop and really have a good look. It's such a pretty little town with a number of churches that would make most priests jealous, and I realised my stop at Bendemeer was just a waste of time. I should have gone from the Apsley Falls straight through to Armidale and had lunch there. I need to start planning my hops better. The ride from Armidale along the Waterfall Way was also a missed opportunity. Seeing the waterfalls in full flow was quite spectacular, but because of all the roadworks and the traffic temporary conditions, I was unable to stop and take a picture of it. If it wasn't for the potholes and the washed away sections of the road, I'm sure I would have enjoyed this section much more. Not only was it getting dark, but I was getting quite tired. The windy road up and down the mountain was taking its toll, and I was at the point where if the dish fell off again, I would have just left it. It is the dish that's making all the luggage I'm carrying from being bearable to unbearable. I'm starting to think I should buy a newer Starlink dish as it's smaller and rectangle. Somewhere after Doringo, someone left a surprise for me in the centre of the road, just for motorcyclists. It was a 100 zone, around a corner, wet, and I was tired. I had a split second to make a choice between attempting to swerve or brake or just going straight over it. I didn't think I had much traction for either of the first two options, so I braced the bike and just went straight over it. I'm still not sure whether it was luck or skill, but I was just so happy to have made it back to the main highway. Staying in an eco-designed house is somewhat different. There are several heavy double-glazed sliding doors and numerous single-glazed louvered windows. I'm not sure what the point of paying for an expensive installation and then having such large uninsulated sections. Also, there is no heating. Surely a fireplace is still eco. I'm not sure if Coffs Harbour is where the free love hippie movement of the upper north coast starts or not, or just the girls up here realise that if they expect a man to take them out of here, they need to start shaking the girly blitz a little bit more obviously, as I've seen numerous women walking around in bikini tops or braless. I'll wait until I get to Byron Bay to compare. Staying with a male host is a bit of a different experience, as the place isn't as squeaky clean as my previous two hosts, but it does have its benefits, as I was knocked back from staying with a place in the Sunshine Coast because I was a single male. Apparently the host has two small children, one with PTSD, and obviously a male would trigger an event. With all this rain and all the luggage, it would have been so much easier to do the big lack like everybody else and just buy a van. I'm still not sure if I should just give in. I could carry everything. I'd have a fuel tank capable of over 1,000 kilometres. I'd be warm, dry and safe within a cage. I could take someone with me. You know, so many benefits. The front tyre only has a couple of thousand kilometres left in it, and I really need to get to the Gold Coast or Brisbane to have it serviced. I'm somewhat avoiding taking the bike out to explore at the moment to make sure the tyre gets there. Again, this trip would have been so much easier in a van whose front tyres would have lasted over 100,000 kilometres. But right now, I'm just happy at this point that I haven't come off or broken down. Again, I've had access to NBN and hadn't really needed the Starlink connection. It's been some 6 weeks of paying for it, not actually using it. I've also had access to 4G, although it's patchy. I'm starting to think that every good trip needs at least one item to lug around in the belief that it'll be useful, but never actually using it. I'm starting to think that the dish is that item from this trip. I've also got to hand it to Elon. The dish has been built quite well, and it's still working fine after coming off the bike twice now. It's got plenty of scratches and tyre marks. Still, I'm not sure if I should try cleaning it or just upgrading to a newer version. Or maybe I should just wait until it's totally destroyed before I decide. I'm still looking forward to making the Cape, and I'm still confident I can do it on a motorcycle. Coffs Harbour is a nice place for a stroll up the beach, but since I'm under 65 and not in the medical profession, then it's not the place for me. I sympathise with the young people in this town, as the only thing to do here is to dream of getting out. Next stop is Byron Bay with a stopover in Grafton and Casino. If I'm feeling up for it, I might try to make it to Glen Innes, but I don't know if that'll work out. Thanks for following my adventures around Australia, and remember to enjoy your day.